Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. We have a lot of new information that was revealed to us with a brand new Game Informer trailer. They're also going to spend the next month detailing all of the specifics that we can expect in Rise of Iron, but this serves as a bit of a teaser of what's to come. Also, this trailer was supplemented with an article which actually gave us a pretty in-depth outline of what we can expect in Rise of Iron. So with that, let's jump into this video. This is the first place I want to stop real quick, and it kind of shows us an interesting SIVA infused object in this doorway here. It's hard to say if this is part of a public event or a story mission, or this might be how enemies spawn into the area, as in destroy this thing or they'll continue to spawn infinitely. All I know is that it's blocking our path and we probably have to destroy it.
Good, and in the process become.
Here's the next place I want to pause, which is the new social space Fellwinter Peak. Here we get a glimpse as to how big this area might actually be. Here you're walking through a social space into that Iron Lord temple that we've seen before, but as you can see behind him, it looks like there are vendors and quest givers in a different section of Fellwinter Peak.
I'm an Iron Lord yourself.
South End of the Iron Lords, we always knew had this sort of untapped potential. We wanted to explore it, so this is perfect.
The Iron Lords are a place where we can build down on the fantasy side.
The thing that we knew.
Here we get our first glimpse into the new arena activity called Archon's Forge. Up until now, the only arena activity in the game was the Prison of Elders and the Challenge of the Elders, and it looks like in Rise of Iron we're getting a new arena activity. As you can see on the left side of the screen, the new interface for completing the arena activity is a little different, more akin to a public event. And we're not quite sure if this is just for Archon's Forge or if it's going to be implemented across all of the arena activities. But at least for this portion of Archon's Forge, we can see we have a limited number of time to defeat a certain number of enemies. Another thing to note is that if we go back to that previous pause, we can see that same object that we saw a little bit earlier in the trailer. And it seems like maybe that is an enemy spawn point.
Content, a new raid, new Crucible.
Here we have our first glimpse into the new Crucible game mode titled Supremacy. In the Game Informer article that was also released today, we learned that Supremacy is essentially the same thing as sort of a clash mode. However, after you kill one of your opponents, they drop an item called a crest. And essentially, to score any points in this game mode, you have to collect that crest after you defeat the enemy. Also, it is possible to deny your opponent that kill by collecting your fallen teammate's crest yourself. As you can see, we see two different colored crests on the screen. One is blue and one is red. It looks like to confirm your own kill, you've got to go for that red crest, or to deny the enemy team their point, you have to go ahead and collect the blue crest, which belongs to your teammate. Another cool detail is in the scoreboard in the bottom right hand corner. You can see that the only thing that matters in this game mode is picking up those crests. You don't get any points for assists, melee, or super kills. The crests are the most important thing. I'm personally very excited for this game mode, and I think it will prove to be a welcome addition to Destiny. And lastly, before I move on, I did want to point out the new Crucible map that we're looking at, which it looks like it takes place on the Ishtar Sink in Venus. We can see the Clovis Bray logo at the top, and we know they have a strong presence on Venus.
I think the Plaguelands is a really special, open, large space.
That feeling of nostalgia is a theme that we're playing with. There's a lot of.
Here we can see there is this bridge in front of us, and I believe this to be the entrance to Fellwinter Peak. My best guess is that this might be one of the first missions we go on to unlock Fellwinter Peak as a social space, and that is based on the little clue that we have in the upper left hand corner, which shows an enemy on his radar, most likely right behind him.
Of stuff we've only hinted at. Players.
And here we have our first look in the animations for the Iron Axe. Of course, this is a relic that you're going to be able to pick up during certain activities, such as public events and strikes, and it's cool to finally see it in action.
Are hungry for more content, so we're more than happy to keep giving them that stuff. We've got a lot of.
And finally, in this trailer, we have another section of the social space Fellwinter Peak. And the first detail to note is this bluish purple flame in the middle that is very reminiscent to me of Radiant Light from Year 1. Radiant Light was a buff that we got to increase all experience throughout the week after defeating the Nightfall. So it'll be interesting to see if this provides any kind of similar buffs to your player, or if it's simply a cool looking fire. And speaking of cool looking, we see our first look at the wolves that are going to be occupying the social space. We can see one laying down in the front and a couple more in the back. And that wraps up our look at the new Game Informer trailer for Rise of Iron. Of course, they're going to be giving us a lot more information over the next month, and there's still lots to talk about today's reveal. I'm going to do my best to get all of this information out to you over the next few days, so subscribe to this channel to keep up to date with everything new. Also, be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time. And now, a few days ago, especially after watching the Cosmodrome reveal stream again, I kind of had the epiphany of, is the gunsmith supplying us with SIVA weapons?